Guardians, Peace and Grease here, and I gotta wonder, does Marathon deserve the hate that it is receiving lately? And I want to talk a little bit about that. I've watched all the trailers, and I kind of have some thoughts on this. Things that I liked, things that I did not like. So you know how I roll. Let's talk about the things that I did like. First of all, the environment. The environments in this game looked great. I think that the environment team always do a fantastic job. I think that the acting sounded great. I think that the music selection was great. Some of the effects I think were really cool. So I think the effects team did a really good job here as well. Now let's turn to the things that I disliked about it, and these are more subjective. So I want to be clear about that. The first is the character design. To be quite frank, I don't like it. I don't really like any of these characters, and that's a problem. You have this kind of imaginary spectrum, and on one side, at the extreme, you have this boring, uninteresting characters. Well, obviously, you don't want to be there. But on the other end of the spectrum, at the extreme, you've got these crazy, goofy looking characters, abstract looking characters, which is where I think these characters lie. And I'm not really interested in these characters because I just don't like the way they look. So you kind of want to be somewhere in the middle, interesting enough to pique curiosity, and that's really where you want to be. Unfortunately, I don't think that with these characters in Marathon, they pique interest. I think a lot of people just kind of turn away because they don't like the way that they look. Another thing that's subjective I disliked was the armor. Look, if you watch any of my videos, you know that I had bitched about the armor in Destiny 2 for years. I don't like a single set in its entirety out of the hundreds of armor sets in this game for all three characters, my Hunter, my Warlock, or my Titan. Don't like any of them. The reason I bring this up is because the same armor style that I don't like in Destiny 2 is alive and well in Marathon. So what are my thoughts about that? I don't like it. I don't like it in Destiny 2, and I don't like it in Marathon. Now let's move into the things that I didn't like that I think are flawed at a fundamental level with this game. The first is the classes and abilities. Look, call them what you want to call them, okay? But at the end of the day, what I saw was a Hunter, a Titan, and a Warlock. You couldn't have, you couldn't have done something a little bit different there. We have a Hunter-esque character complete with a hood. We have a Titan-esque character complete with these gigantic pauldrons. And we have a Warlock-esque character, looks like it's even wearing the Cenotaph mask, the exotic helmet. And then the problem is the abilities. We have a bubble. Where have I seen that before? We have a shield, aka a barricade. Where have I seen that before? We have Invis. Where have I seen that before? I've seen all these abilities before in Destiny 2. You couldn't have done something like new and exciting, something different. It just seems like you took what, the classes and abilities that already exist in Destiny 2 and threw them into Marathon and just called them something else. That's a problem. A big problem. But that's not the only issue that I have here. What this game looks like to me, even though I know it's supposed to be an extraction shooter, what it looks like to me is Trials of Osiris, the game. Now, you may wonder, is that a problem? Yeah, that's kind of a big problem. Why? Because Trials of Osiris is a game mode in Destiny 2 that is constantly on the decline. Constantly. Bungie does something, some players return, and then it goes back to decline again. Over and over and over again. Trials of Osiris is in a constant state of decline. Always has been. And now you make an entire game that looks like nothing but Trials of Osiris, the game? Does anybody remember the good old days of Halo PvP? Just the fun chaos that was Halo PvP. Remember that? Not the crap we got today. I'm talking years ago. The fun chaos of Halo in PvP. That was so amazing because it was just so stupid and it was just fun. That's where I think that Bungie should have taken this. Almost kind of a battle royale 6v6. Have fun, right? Use the environmental hazards. Use the environment to your advantage, right? Imagine maps in Marathon where, kind of like an oil rig, where you have multiple levels and you have those yellow tubes on the side. If you've ever seen a building under construction and they have the yellow refuse tubes where you throw garbage in it and it drops down to a dumpster several stories. And imagine if you have those and you use those as an escape route from the top floor very quickly down to the bottom floor. But there's environmental hazards, so some will take you to safety, others not so much. Imagine a giant warehouse with crates, with racks overhead that are constantly moving crates. And you can actually get on top of those and have combat right there where you have people, enemy teammates on a different crate moving towards you. I mean, you could just have sheer chaos and fun. How about imagine a map where you have low altitude, slow flying vessels, enemy vessels. Like in Destiny 2, we have, right, Cabal ships and we have Hive ships. Imagine if you could get on top of those ships and actually be in combat on top of those ships. I mean, you could do so many fun things. I mean, we all know that the PvP community in Destiny 2 are their own worst enemy. And does anybody else remember the Halloween event where Bungie removed the radar in Trials and added a spider that ran across your screen every once in a while? That was amazing. The biggest crutch in all of PvP in Destiny, the radar, is the biggest crutch in the entire game. I loved it. I think the Trials was its best when there was no radar. There was no crutch. Every PvP content creator says the same thing. They always have a segment where they talk about learn the radar, aka use the crutch, learn the crutch. Well, Bungie can't do anything new in Destiny PvP because the PvP community loses their shit. When they pull the radar and add a spider on the screen, the PvP community lost their shit. So now Bungie just plays it safe. It's just always playing it safe in Destiny 2 PvP. They can't do anything crazy. They can't do anything wild because the Destiny 2 PvP community wants the same boring ass vanilla white bread shit over and over again. They want the, you got to peek shoot. You got to use a meta build. You got to use meta weapons. You got to use your radar. You can't do anything fun. You can't do anything exciting. And this is Bungie's chance to break away from the Destiny 2 PvP community and do some crazy, outlandish shit. Have fun with it. Create a game that is an absolute chaos, but also incredibly fun. And now's their chance to do it. And now it just seems like they want to go back to the, you got to peek shoot. You got to use meta. It's just so boring. That's why I don't play Destiny 2 PvP anymore, because it's just the same boring, redundant shit over and over and over again. And the Destiny 2 PvP community wants it that way. It's sad but true. That's why I say that the PvP community is their own worst enemy. You got a new game. Do something new. Do something exciting. Do something fun. That's my personal opinion on it, But then we have another problem. You want to charge money for a game that doesn't look complete, doesn't offer anything new. That's a massive problem. It's a huge problem. I mean, you're basically saying that Marathon's going to be a better game than all these other games that are similar to it. Different, but similar, like Marvel's Rivals. Is it going to be a better game? Really, Bungie? Fortnite, Apex Legends, it's going to be a better game than those games? Because those are free. And you want to charge money for yours. So clearly you're saying your game is going to be better, but that's not what we're seeing on screen. We're not seeing that on screen. So how are you going to charge money for it? Don't get me wrong. I know Sony has had a hard-on for years about getting a multiplayer game. They desperately want a game, see Concord as an example, that's going to kind of break into that Fortnite, Marvel Rival kind of genre so that they can make money hand over fist. That's desperately what Sony wants. But anyway, those are just kind of my thoughts. As what I'm seeing right now, it's a pass for me. Because even if you want to say that my taste is subjective, and you're right, the fundamental flaws that I see with this game are going to prevent me from buying it and playing it. I'm sorry. It's a pass for me. I think that Bungie has a chance to really have fun with this game, do some crazy PvP in this game, but they're going back to the same tired, stale shit that they have for years now. And I'm just not interested in that. I already have that in Destiny 2 PvP. Why would I want more of that? Why would I want to pay for another game that gives me more of that? Anyway, that's just kind of my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. And until next time, peace out.